What's going on, folks? Welcome to another episode of Ask RGT 85, where I answer your questions. This week I got a bunch of great questions over on the Facebook fan page, link in the description if you want to go ahead and like that so you can participate in this. So I've decided to do 2 questions this week. I'm going to do a video today and a video tomorrow, Friday. So be on the lookout for both videos. Make sure you subscribe so that you're able to catch these videos. But the first question I wanted to tackle comes to us from Jonathan Balfowski. I think I said your name right. And he basically asked me what I thought about the Castlevania on Switch rumors, to which when I read this yesterday, I was kind of like, what are you talking about? Don't tease me with Castlevania stuff, you know. Castlevania is one of my favorite franchises. It's definitely up there with Street Fighter as one of the greatest franchises of all time. Don't tease me. But it turns out that there's actually some merit to this. So we're going to discuss what was said to bring about this Castlevania on Switch rumor, and if it does become true, what I would like to see. So is Castlevania coming to the Nintendo Switch? Let's find out. This bit of information comes to us from a recent interview with European brand manager Richard Jones over at Konami. I will have a link to the original interview in the description box, so make sure you go check out the source material. But basically, this is what Richard said. All I can say is that there's lots of internal discussions going on within Konami regarding what games we could bring to the Nintendo Switch other than Bomberman, a game which we are well aware of its heritage and how loved and Castlevania is. So much so that Castlevania is getting its own Netflix show. Because of that, we're hearing a lot of desires from our fans for a new Castlevania series. So we do know that there is a demand for a new game, but right now nothing is set in stone as discussions are still ongoing. So obviously this is, alluding to the fact that there was Super Bomberman R on the Nintendo Switch. Bomberman had been gone for a long time, and he made his triumphant return in a surprising manner to the Nintendo Switch. Now, something I want to keep in mind here is the fact that there's been a lot of sort of revivals of older games on the Nintendo Switch so far, and it's only been out for 3 months. You have, of course, Super Bomberman R and Street Fighter 2, Ultra Street Fighter 2, The Final Challenger. So it's sort of interesting. In both games, Super Bomberman R sold really well for Konami. Like, Konami's actually pretty impressed with that. And Ultra Street Fighter 2 seems to be selling pretty decently as well. So there's obviously a demand for these, retro-style new games coming to the Nintendo Switch. The Neo Geo games on the Switch's eShop right now are very popular. But Castlevania, wow. I think that there is a chance that we'll see a Castlevania game. Maybe not at E3, who knows, it could be a surprise announcement, but I definitely think due to that statement that there is a chance, because you could have easily just been like, we don't really have any comment on that, sorry. Like, PR work is very meticulous. You have to watch what you say in the world of PR, and to even allude to the fact that you're considering a Castlevania like you considered Super Bomberman R is a huge thing in my opinion. As far as what sort of game I would like to see Castlevania, it needs to be 2.5D. I feel that a 3D Castlevania games just aren't that good. I haven't ever played one where I was like, hey, this is a really good game. Meanwhile, the NES games, the Super Nintendo games, Symphony of the Night on PS1, Castlevania Chronicles on PS1, the DS games, even the 3DS game was pretty damn good. And it's like, you can't go wrong with this. So what Konami needs to do, in my opinion, is a 2.5D game, because 2D games, they kind of fall into that retro-esque, genre of video games. But if you do a 2.5D game, you can have those, big, beautiful graphics in the background, but still have the 2D style of gameplay. Honestly, I don't care if you go with the Metroidvania style of gameplay or the classic style of gameplay like we saw on Castlevania Rebirth on the WiiWare. I just want a new Castlevania. And with the, renewed interest because of the cartoon, which actually looks amazing. I know I did a video kind of skeptical on it, but when they did that debut sort of teaser trailer, I'm sold on it. Obviously, a lot of people want Castlevania. If you're going to have Castlevania on Netflix, which is arguably the biggest video streaming service in the world, why would you not want to make a new game to sort of capitalize on this? It doesn't have to be in the style of that, because I think the events happened before Castlevania 3, but hell, do the game with the events taking place before Castlevania 3 on the Nintendo Switch. 2.5D, beautiful backgrounds, 3D lush environments, but everything takes place on a 2D plane. The possibilities are endless, and I'm very excited for this possibility. I'm very excited for Castlevania potentially coming to the Nintendo Switch, even if it's not to the Nintendo Switch, if it's the PS4, the 3DS, I don't care. I just want a new Castlevania game, and I want a proper new Castlevania game. None of this 3D nonsense, none of this stupid Castlevania 64 crazy nonsense, not the Lords of Shadow, whatever that was on the PS3. Ugh, I couldn't stand that game. None of this Devil May Cry crap. Bring Castlevania back to its roots, but use modern graphics like you did with Super Bomberman R, and you have a hit on your hands. People obviously want these old IPs to come back. Sonic is coming back in full force with Sonic Forces. Well, that was full force Sonic Forces. That was a little bit punny. And of course, Sonic Mania, which I think a lot of the retro gamers are looking forward to. Bring back Castlevania. It's time, man. It is time. It has been time. And plus, you gotta, you know, compete against Bloodstained, right? So those are my thoughts. Castlevania, I think there's a good chance that it could come to the Switch. I would love to see more of these old IPs come back to the Nintendo Switch because it's sort of like the coming of full circle. You know, these games started on Nintendo platforms or became famous on Nintendo platforms. They left for a while and now they're going to come back. Amazing. I would love to see it. It's a storybook ending. Let me know what you think of the possibility of Castlevania coming to the Nintendo Switch in the comments section down below, or if you would prefer it for a different system, what sort of game you'd like to see from Castlevania, 2D, 3D game, what you want in a Castlevania game that comes out in 2017 or beyond. And as always, thank you for watching this video. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, check out my Patreon page if you really like my face, and I'll catch you guys next time. Actually, tomorrow. Later. RGT!